The same atmosphere of the Gothic and the morbid that we saw in The Black Cat and in The Fall of the House of Usher appears in Poe's poetry. He saw death as a very beautiful experience, and he fully embraced the experience of death. This is what he used to explore in all of his tales and all of his poems. He deliberately chose one specific topic for most of his poems, and this is the death of a beautiful woman, which he says is the most poetic topic in all poetry. I will speak about this in my next video more closely because we are about to tackle the Raven. His obsession with death can be seen in Poe's favorite poem, his favorite poem of his own. It's called The Sleeper, in which he says that all beauty sleeps, and where lies Irene, there lies her destiny, and there lies her beauty. So by dying young and seeing Irene on her bier, he says that this is the most beautiful experience that he could ever have. Now, the bier, it is spelled B-I-E-R, is the bed on which a carcass or a corpse is laid. I maybe have this in my next, here it is. So the bed, which is usually a place of sexual activity, and also sleeping, is now identified with the bier. So we have this interesting metaphor with which Poe wants to explain death. His obsession with death of a beautiful woman is seen in many other poems, such as these: To One in Paradise, Sonnet to Zante, Lenore, Ulalume, Annabel Lee, and of course the most famous poem of his, The Raven. Let me give you some examples. Annabel Lee, I hope you have heard of this poem. Some say that this poem was dedicated to Poe's childhood friend who died when she was only a child, and that Poe used to have his own nightly vigils on her tomb, and this is how he got the inspiration for this poem. But most of Poe's biographers agree that the poem is dedicated to Virginia, his wife, whom he married when she was only a child, 13 years of age, and who died very young of consumption. And I told you that Poe was devastated because of her death. He wants to accept her death and to try and move on, but there are certain parts in the poem in which he suggests that he does not want to admit that she's dead. So the melody of the poem is so wonderful, it's so easy to read. For example, I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea, but we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee. I hope you can hear these strange and very strong romantic notions of a love that is shared by children. It is the notion that children can love you more than adults would. So this children love is what the Romantics were obsessed with, and this is what Poe takes from them. There have been many wonderful translations of Annabel Lee. I hope you will see some of those, especially those by Stanislav Inavid. I think he's the best of all Poe's translators. But here you can see, for example, that he does not want to admit and to accept that she is dead by saying, and neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. I hope you can hear the sonorousness of the lines that I just read. The alliteration of the third line, which is so perfect, can ever dissever my soul from the soul. You can hear the S sound repeating, which is quite melodic, I think. In another poem of his, Ulalume, this is a female name, we have another situation in which Ulalume is again dead. She is a young, beautiful woman, but her husband does not want to accept the fact that she is dead at all, and he does not want to visit her tomb. But on the anniversary of her death, there is a strange light that appears to the narrator and points him to Ulalum's grave, so he has to follow the light and to finally see that she's dead. And this is what it said here. He of course asks himself whether the light was that of a demon who shows him the way to Ulalum's tomb. And let me, for example, read an example. Thus I pacified Psyche and kissed her and tempted her out of her gloom and conquered her scruples and gloom. And we passed to the end of the vista, but were stopped by the door of a tomb, by the door of a legended tomb. And I said, "What is written, sweet sister, on the door of this legended tomb?" She replied, "Ulalum, Ulalum, 'tis the vault of thy lost Ulalum." It's important to read this out loud because now I hope you can hear another poetic device that he uses, and that is the repetition, which is also very prominent in The Raven. Another poem I wanted to single out is Lenore. In this poem, Lenore is again dead. Surprise, surprise. But her husband doesn't want to mourn her. He wants to celebrate the fact that she's dead, because her death is a beautiful thing. And so when everybody calls him to be sad and to sing dirges and to mourn her, he replies, "Avaunt! Tonight my heart is light. No dirge will I appraise, but waft the angel on her flight with a paean of old days." Waft the angel on her flight. The angel is Lenore here. Hoće da kaže, želim da joj pomognem da odleti u nebo svojom veselom pesmom. Let no bell toll, neka ni jedno zvono ne zazvoni, lest her sweet soul amid its hallowed mirth should catch the note as it doth float up from the damned earth. Dakle, ne želi da se sviraju tužne pesme, niti da se zvona čuju, jer ako ona čuje to zvono, možda se okrene ka zemlji i poželi da se vrati na zemlju kao duh, a on to ne želi, on želi da ona bezbedno dospe na nebo. I hope you also noticed, apart from the poetic devices that I mentioned, that Poe frequently uses the L sound in his poems that I singled out, especially in the female names. So we had Annabel Lee, Ulalum, and Lenore. All these names contain the L sound, which is very melodic. It gives a certain music to his lines, and it also enhances the rhythm of his lines. And when read out loud, it resembles a song and not a poem, if read correctly with a sonorous voice. This also is deliberately done, as you will see from the philosophy of composition. And all these poetic devices which he uses deliberately are not only described in the philosophy of composition, but also employed in his most famous poem, The Raven. Another poem which features this L sound, but it does not deal with a dead young woman, is the poem El Dorado, which Poe wrote 4 years after The Raven, in the year of his death, 1849, and it also deals with a similar topic, and this is the topic of death and what happens after death. This is metaphorically described by searching for a legendary golden city of enormous wealth. The city is called El Dorado. Nobody has ever seen El Dorado, but it comes from various legends. So that, for example, the 16th century Spanish conquistadors had searched for El Dorado in many parts of South America. And the narrator, actually the speaker, we should say because it's a poem, searches for this legendary city, and he does not find it in the poem, but he finds something else. So let me read it. Gaily bedight, a gallant knight, in sunshine and in shadow, had journeyed long, singing a song in search of El Dorado. So the principal character is a knight. But he grew old, this knight so bold, and o'er his heart a shadow fell, as he found no spot of ground that looked like El Dorado, so he didn't find El Dorado at all. And as his strength failed him at length, he met a pilgrim shadow. Shadow, said he, where can it be, this land of El Dorado? O'er the mountains of the moon, down the valley of the shadow, ride Boldly ride, the shade replied, if you seek for El Dorado. So there is an El Dorado, but we can find the city after we died. It is implied here that the city is found in heaven, maybe, and of course, down the valley of the shadow is an allusion to the Bible. The Psalm 23 from the Old Testament, and this is a famous, famous line. It goes like this. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. And this is actually an explanation that Jesus is going to give us our eternal life. So El Dorado plays with this notion, saying that only after our death can we find something so precious as this golden city of El Dorado. And the final poem that I'm going to mention in this video is A Dream Within a Dream. It's such a beautiful poem. Again, it does not follow the death of a beautiful woman, nor does it deal with death, but it deals with life and the fact that Poe frequently saw life as a dream. And let's see what he has to say. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow. Avow means admit or say to you. You are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. So he says, you have frequently told me that my life has been but a dream, and you were right. This life is only a dream, nothing else. Remember that I told you that Poe was a prophet of sorts before Freud came, of course, who said that it is in our dreams that we can find the essence of our psyche. Yet, if hope has flown away in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. So our life is not only a dream, but it can be a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. It explains the layers of this life in such a beautiful way, and sometimes things that happen in our lives actually do resemble dreams. He continues, I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep, while I weep. O God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? O God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? So he ends the poem with a question. He does not want to give us a solution to our lives, but he just gives us this idea that our life can be seen as a dream, but by ending it with a question mark, he asks us to think about it as well. This part about the sand is so good because the sand and the small number of pieces in the sand, grains of sand, I'm searching for the right word, grains of sand, can actually be people, a metaphor for people, and our hand through which the grains of sand fall is our life. And the speaker says, why can I not grasp all these people or grains of sand with a tighter clasp? They have to go through our hand, which means we all have to die. And the greatest mystery is where these grains of sand or people end up after their death. Here it says they end up in the deep of the ocean. And you know that the ocean is one of the most mysterious forces in this nature because it is still, all these oceans in the world are still mostly unexplored. So there are many, many different directions in which we can interpret his poems, but I think that the most valuable thing to do with Poe's poetry is try to think of them as really psychological, trying to explain the mysteries of our psyche and our life. And death is certainly the best topic to begin with because the humanity is obsessed with death simply because we all have to die. There is no escape from it. So why not think about it all the time? Okay, in my next video, I'm going to speak about the philosophy of composition. So please check that out because you need it in order to understand The Raven.